Well, I've wandered all over the lot. I've talked about COA, and I've told you what, frankly, the election of 2009 is about. And now I'm ready to go to the question and answer session, but one last comment I will make. Folks, 2009 is the year of decision for New Jersey. This is not just another gubernatorial election, and I'm ignoring the legislature for the moment. What I'm saying is not just another gubernatorial election. You heard the number, $190 to $200 billion in long-term debt. We can't survive much longer. And by the way, it's going to get worse. I predict that the governor is going to come out and he's going to deliver his budget speech next week. I expect that he will once again underfund the pensions, which means that the pension debt will get bigger. In effect, we're borrowing more against the future. I predict he will raise taxes again. New Jersey already has the highest taxes in the nation. That will drive more business out of New Jersey. I predict there will be more funny accounting where we move expenses out of this year and into another year. In other words, I think you'll see more financial irresponsibility. And since I'm in a collegiate setting, I'm going to say this. Guys, what do your parents always say? You have to do your own homework. Well, New Jersey has to do its own homework. There is no magic wand. There is no easy way out of this problem. We have to just simply bite the bullet and recognize the same things any New Jersey family does. You can't spend more than you take in on a recurring basis. We have lived for years and years on one-shot revenues that don't repeat, and we've increased our spending. You know, Governor Corzine loves to tell you how conservative he is in terms of money spending. In the first 2 years of the Corzine administration, he increased state spending by 19%. 19%, ladies and gentlemen. It's not that we don't have enough money. It really isn't. In the last 8 years, we have increased state revenues by 50%, from $22 billion to about $33 billion. And I'm not counting all what's happened with the collapse, but that's what we had budgeted. $22 billion to $33 billion, 50% increase. If that's not enough increase in revenue, my God, what is? Or perhaps, this is interesting, you know, I love to talk about people who've become unpeople in New Jersey. Remember Governor James E. McGreevey Jr.? He of the famous, well, never mind. His state treasurer, John McCormick, gave a wonderful speech just as he was leaving office. My God, it was a speech he should have delivered as he entered office, not leaving office. He said, New Jersey doesn't have a revenue problem. New Jersey has more revenue than any other state per capita in the world. He said, New Jersey has a spending problem. Well, Treasurer McCormick was absolutely right. We do have a spending problem. We have a spending addiction. And the governor is now going to pretend to you that he is a better bunny and a reformed rabbit, and that he's going to spend less money. If he does so, it is only because reality has a way of closing in on us all. I'm telling you, I'm going to approach state government just as though it were my own family. We will not spend more money than we take in. We will not borrow money without asking your permission. The reason we had a $5 billion debt 15 years ago was because the people of New Jersey had said no. The people of New Jersey had control over the state debt. And you know what's funny? Again, I'm a constitutionalist. Article 8 of the New Jersey State Constitution says, in effect, the legislature and governor may not spend money, or may not borrow money, without the people's approval. And yet, the Supreme Court of New Jersey, the same one that's managed to fabricate all kinds of garbage in our state constitution, couldn't find those words and permitted the state to write in mouse print on its bonds, not an obligation of the state of New Jersey. And those bonds were sold, billions of them, tens of billions of them, without your approval. Ladies and gentlemen, that is cause for revolution. That's also cause to replace everyone involved. That's the kind of thing I want to stop. One other provision of the Constitution I want to bring up. I commend it to your reading. It's called Article 9. What the hell is Article 9? Well, I'll tell you. Article 9 of our state constitution says this is how you amend the state constitution. The legislature has to vote, not once but twice, unless there's a supermajority. Why? Because it's important. And is it a constitutional amendment at that point? No. It has to be advertised. There has to be a public hearing where the people get to speak on it. And then, most importantly, at the end of that process, the people of New Jersey get to vote on that proposed constitutional change. It's a very complicated process, but there's a key issue here. That power is not reserved to the government. Note who's involved. You have the state Senate and the state Assembly teeing up the ball, but they don't get to hit the ball. Who hits the ball? People of New Jersey. Why? Because it's our fundamental law. We made a contract with our state government. We said, these are the powers we're going to give to you, and these are the powers we're going to keep. We're going to keep state debt. We'll trust you to screw up the state economy 1 year at a time, but you're not going to foul up the state for 30 or 40 years. Well, we've broken that contract. They said, we're not going to let you change the state constitution, the fundamental law, without our permission. And yet, our Supreme Court has repeatedly changed the Constitution without the people's permission. Folks, your Constitution and your rights as a people are being stolen from you. And by God, this is one candidate who's going to stand up and say, enough. It's not going to happen anymore. Thanks so much, and on to your questions.
We're going to take a few questions now. I'd like to start with the first one. Under your proposed solution for the removal of COA, would you recommend any superior council or body that oversees decisions on a municipal level?
I got a really funny idea. Why don't we ask those who are involved? Why not talk to the mayors? Why not talk to the freeholders and say, how would you approach this? What makes the most sense? I believe in bottom-up government. Government closest to the people is always most responsive to the people. And so that's the way I would approach redesigning a system. It would not be a Soviet-style central bureaucracy dictating based on aerial photographs of towns. I would say involve the people in the decision.